I remember that I heard about this Chatroulette webpage, and I said like, okay, let's check this out. Like, what's the huge deal about this? So I went in, and it was a crazy experience. Like if anyone who has ever had experience of going into a live chat rooms, the first time is shocking.
Hello, everybody,
Hi.
and welcome to the Isola podcast. My name is Ilta Maria, and I am here with a lovely artist from Mexico.
Hey.
You go by the name Existential. How are you? Hola, chica.
Hola, I am doing so good. Thank you for having me, guys. I am so happy.
Of course, I'm so excited to talk to you and get to know you a little bit better. We've talked before, and I know a little bit about your art and about you. But this is today we're gonna dig in deep. So let's begin. So you are multidisciplinary artist, right?
Yes.
So can you tell us what are besides NFTs? What type of art you are creating? What kind of different kind of art you are creating?
Well, when I was in uni, they taught us how to do many things, and I like to mix different techniques to settle down an idea that I might have. For example, I have like ceramics, and I make stop motion in ceramics. And then I like to do a lot of watercolor and to do some mixed media with watercolor and pastels and color pencils. And I have been doing oil painting since I was 11 years old. And well, here and there I do, like if I have the study, to do some silver jewelry, and I also like to do batik, and I don't know, like whatever comes to my hands, I can just like make something.
That's amazing. I love that.
Yes.
So, okay, let's go back, way back. What is the first memory for you creating art? Do you remember from childhood?
Yes, I remember when I was in elementary school that I really enjoyed to draw. I really like to draw and to use color pastels. I remember I was very curious, so I would open every little drawer in my parents' house. So one time I found a box of soft pastels that my mother had. And I remember that they felt so soft and that you can just erase and to difuminate the lines so beautifully. So I remember doing this kind of game with these soft pastels when I was in elementary school. And I was actually known in my classroom as a kid that knew how to draw. I had that level behind me.
That's amazing.
Yes,
I have
yes.
the same. Yeah. So, do are you the only one in your family being creative, or is it in your blood, or how?
I think so. My dad, he's a very sketch artist. He likes to draw also a lot, and he has always been very supportive of me in that way. And I don't know if we're talking about the same kind of creativity as in doing, for example, art, but my sister is a chef. And my mom, she has always, yes. And my mom, she has also these really great culinary abilities, and she has these very great crafty kind of things, that she was painting pottery, and she will do silk screening and like many things. And I think this is somewhere where I got it. And I also have many uncles that are photographers. So yes, it kind of runs in my family.
Yeah, it runs in a family,
Yes.
definitely. So, okay, so when you were a kid, you were drawing a lot and you were known as the kid who can draw. What happens next? Do you study art and tell us a little bit
Um,
about the story. How did you end up where you are now?
Yeah, it was kind of a quest of finding where I could focus my creativity because I also have a couple of cousins who are professional musicians, like really professional musicians in symphonics and everything. And so they were trying to find where I could canalize this creativity. So first I started to learn how to play the piano and cello and some this long black flute. How do you call it? Clarinet? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the clarinet.
Yeah.
But I couldn't. I couldn't find those kind of connections between my mind and the body. I couldn't just. I didn't feel very natural doing it. And then when I was 11 years old, my mother heard about this lady that was giving some painting classes close by to my house. And then she enrolled me in those classes. So I started going to painting, and it turns out that I was actually doing at mixing colors and like making everything in the canvas. And that was it. I was studying with that lady for 6 years before I started uni. That's where I found out that I wanted to become an artist. And when I realized that this is actually a career that you can make, that you can go to college to study arts, I decided to see like, okay, so this is something I really want to do.
Yeah, and then after you when you graduated, what happens then? What are you are an artist or what happens then?
Oh my God, it has been a roller coaster. Like,
Yep.
oh my gosh. Well, I was in uni, so I arrived to the university with the idea that I had these skills in painting, no, because I did this for a good amount of time. But then when I was studying, I ran into this teacher who he has like his own thing, and we had like a huge clash. I was like I always painted like very detailed and like very soft colors and very contemplative, and also like very slow in the production, no. But then I have this teacher that he was a German expressionist, no? Like he was like, I am all about small formats and then, small painting brushes and everything. And then he has like huge canvases
Yeah.
and the violence of oil painting and huge paint brushes and, so raw. And I was like not very connected to that kind of expression and that kind of way of working with painting. And he decided that I was not good at doing this. And then, coming from a teacher, it was like a very hard punch in my gut. So
Yeah.
as soon as I finished college, I actually stopped painting for 13 years because that interaction with him led to a huge creative blockage.
Wow, really? So
yes.
you really like kind of shut down because of
It traumatized me. Yes.
wow,
Yes.
yeah. It can
Yeah.
happen. That's
Yeah.
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 Well,
It was
okay,
very
so
hard.
what did so okay, this is super interesting. So you had a long break. What happened? What happens then? How do you get back to creating art again?
Well, after I finished uni, I kind of like finished everything that I had, like any loose end. Like I received my degree. Like I did my thesis. I painted my thesis in watercolors. I didn't touch oil paintings for a really long time. I was doing watercolors and I was doing a lot of drawing and etching. I specialized in printmaking and I really enjoyed doing Japanese techniques. So after I finished college and I got my thesis and I broke up with a horrible boyfriend, let's not talk about that. I go to Southeast Asia and I decided to go to Southeast Asia and I stayed in monasteries practicing and studying Buddhism. So I started a path in meditation. So I think that meditation was a great way for me to heal that wound And I finished like at the beginning of this year. I took actually some therapy, like a course. I did the how do you call her? I forgot her name. The Way of the Artist book with Julia
Yes.
Cameron. Julia
Yeah,
Cameron.
yeah, yeah,
Yes, her book.
exactly. Yes.
I did that. So after a long time meditating and then doing Julia Cameron's book, everything fell into its place, and I decided, like, you know what? I think it is time for me to do this again. You know, to start to create once again. Because even though I was always connected to my creativity side, doing ceramics and doing watercoloring, I didn't felt confident enough to show my art. So that's why I entered into the NFTs.
Okay. So this is very recent when you got back of doing this, and the first scene is basically the NFTs. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, yes,
Oh, yes.
yes.
Okay. So, okay, let's go to NFTs then. What what was the thing? I think we're gonna ask this for everybody, and this is interesting. What was the reason you got into NFTs? What did you see something very special in NFTs, or?
I didn't heard about NFTs. I mean, I saw the word like floating around on the internet, and I read something here and there on Reddit and on Twitter and anything. But I actually learned better about it when the husband of my best friend, we were talking between each other, and I asked him, like, I know that you're doing NFTs, like how's that working and how is that going? And he has been doing really good. He has been doing great. And then he said, like, this is amazing, like this is a way for you to showcase your artwork to anyone. It's not like, for example, I live in a place where it's very conservative, no? And this project in particular, and also the points that I try to make with my art, they're not very, like in a conservative society, it's not very well taken. So it is very hard for me to enter a gallery or to enter some place like this. So he told me about the universality of NFTs and how open and how many people can actually see the art that you are creating, and the potential that it has in giving the power back to the artist, instead of just going and to the galleries and accept me and I have to present the project and do this, do that, when here you have an absolute control of whatever that you are doing. So this is something that really appealed to me, and then it was one of the things that was falling into place for me to make the decision of, this is what I'm going to do right now. Like this feels right, and I think this is the right time to do this.
Yeah. Let's go to the your NFT collection soon. But before that, I want to ask: how much do you create art? Is it only NFTs now for you, or do you do something outside, or are you starting to do something outside too, because you're back in business
Yes.
now?
Well, right now I am always constantly doing ceramics commissions or ceramic projects, which I actually have a ceramic piece in my profile. So the ceramics that I do is mostly utilitarian, and I also do ceramics jewelry and stuff. But I have to take some time for the production into making a ceramics project, because it takes a long time to do ceramics.
It takes a long time.
And so this is something that I do, and I'm also a teacher outside. I just finished my cycle being a meditation teacher at a school. But right now I am working with a project that I want to open an incubator for artists, where I'm going to be helping them into landing an idea that they may have, and they don't know how to put it down into a canvas or paper, and I want to guide them into finding their own creative voice, and their own language in the way that they're expressing, because a lot of people might have expectations in the way that they want the art to be, instead of embracing the language that they can make with their own hands. So
yes. Yeah, and you said that you're teaching meditation in a school, and art is meditation. I mean, at
It
least for
is.
me, it's you have to be so mm, at the same time grounded, but also like very connected to your imagination, intuition, and everything.
Exactly.
So that's I think that's a good way, maybe even better way for some people to meditate, because it might be very difficult for some people to just like sit and try to meditate. We
Yes.
all know how hard
Yes.
that is.
Yes.
So
And
when you're actually doing something at the same time, that's I don't think people actually think about it that way. They don't think that doing actually something very, when you're very concentrated, is also
yes.
meditating.
Yes, actually, that is one of the qualities of the mind, to focus and to create. So I want to be able to open that channel, to bring, like I know I love this movement that you made, like to bring this to this and then connect into your hands, no, and to
Yes.
put it there with no restraints and with no expectations or control, to let go and to make it.
Yeah,
And yeah, this
exactly.
is something that I want to do. This is a project that I've been working on. As soon as my kid starts the school, I will definitely put myself into that.
Is
And
this
yeah.
something for every age, or like specifically are you trying to get it in the school where you're already teaching?
No, I think this is particularly for adults
Mm.
because with kids, I actually this past week I was teaching a summer course, teaching painting to a group of 25 kids, and the way that I like to make art approachable to other kids is to them to believe that they can do it, because a lot of kids have the idea that they cannot draw.
Yeah.
And the main concepts that I brought to them is what figurative and abstract. You just because that you can't make like a perfect bunny or anything doesn't mean that you
Yeah.
can't do this. Like, how
Yeah.
do you feel that a bunny feels? Like, make the fuzzy one, no? Like, make it abstract. How do you feel?
Yeah.
And a lot of the kids left very happy because a lot of them thought that they couldn't do this. It wasn't for them. And when I opened this door, like, it's not about what you are going to draw with your hands, but art is about feeling it and to connect with it. And it was
Exactly.
beautiful. It was beautiful. I really enjoyed doing
Yeah,
this.
imagine that
Yeah.
feeling these kids have, going from believing that I can't create, I can't draw, and then
Like,
suddenly, like, oh, okay,
no.
I can do
Yeah,
something. That's,
this is actually that can be done. Like, I don't have to make
yeah,
a perfect face. Like, no. And
exactly.
yeah, it was one of the first premises that I told them. Like, remove yourself the idea that you're coming to art classes or you're coming to painting classes, because it gives us like like, oh, I am with the art teacher. Like, no, like, we are experimenting with painting and we're experimenting with water. So let's
Yeah.
see how water and color behave together. So let's see what happens there. How much can you control it and how much can you not? And beautiful things came up. Yeah.
Absolutely,
Hmm.
absolutely. Okay, so now we really need to get to your NFT collection, because I love this project. Quickly tell us about the project and what was it. It's your thesis. This is what I know.
Yes.
So why did you choose this topic? Um, and tell us a little bit how before we go and check out the specific art pieces, how did you created it?
It is like the birth child of two previous projects that I had in mind for my thesis, but that I was not completely convinced about them. I was trying to do something related to evolution, to human condition, human body, and everything, but I couldn't quite put the images and the words together, because this is something that you have to do for your thesis. You have to make everything cohesive. You cannot
Mm.
make a painting that is not justified in the text, and you cannot write about something that is not in the painting. So I couldn't find that balance. I couldn't, like, what subject am I going to talk about, or what is my research going to be focused on that sustains everything that I'm doing. and it led to an existential crisis. That's why I'm existential.
Yeah.
An existential crisis, and I was already working on this project for maybe a year and a half or something like that. And I was like, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to just relax for some time and clear my head so I can just like polish everything inside out and see what comes up. So in one of these days that I was just chilling out and, browsing on the internet, I remember that I heard about this Chatroulette webpage. And I said like, okay, let's check this out. Like what's the huge deal about this? So I went in, and it was a crazy experience. Like if anyone who has ever had experience of going into a live chat rooms, the first time is shocking, because you are absolutely, unless you go inside that webpage and not knowing what is going to happen, it's quite shocking. But if you know what everything, and like you have an idea of what happens there, then your expectations are being met. But I came into that webpage without knowing what it was all about. So as soon as I had my first funky experience, I said, okay, we have something very interesting here, like internet and globalization and world connection, and this is what's happening with it.
Yeah.
So it became my thesis, this project. I wrote 150 pages about this in 3 months.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I've heard about this like chat rooms, but I've never done it. I actually heard about it probably from you when we met on Twitter Space. So, and I was immediately interested about your whole project. So, okay, so maybe we could now check out the art a little bit.
Yes, let's go.
Let's start from the German. What was it? German stranger.
Yes.
What's it?
Germany
That-
stranger
yeah.
number 7. Yes.
So first, tell me, how do you draw these on a paper, right?
Yes, everything I made in total 150 watercolors, and I made a selection of 100 to mint into the NFT project. And they are a small format. They may be like this size with frame and everything. Because in the project I made a lot of them, and I showcased them in the gallery, like in the entire gallery. And so yes, depending of the feeling that I got from the person, this is where I make use of the materials. For example, watercolor is usually very soft and very transparent, but also mixed with dry pastels, it creates like this kind of this shock, no? So the experience that I had with this kid, he was like 8 years old, and it was like
8 years old.
he was a kid, like he was wearing
my
like a
God.
huge jacket on top of him, like he was maybe wearing his dad's jacket or something, and it was huge. And then he seemed like really tiny, like I was like, what are you doing here in this webpage? Where are your parents? This is not a place for a kid, you know?
Yeah.
And I immediately understood in a way why he was there. He was yelling a lot, and then you could hear his mom telling something to him in the distance, and he was like wah 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 wah. And I was just watching this in awe and in like I want to stay here because I want to protect you from the things that you might see ahead, because at that moment there was no filter. You could just run into some person doing some weird things on the internet. And I don't know, an unsupervised 8-year-old kid in this kind of places was, I don't know, a little bit of a touch of reality of what's happening in the world, and then that sadly it was out of my control. So yeah, that's why this image it has so much power on the paper, and all because it had a huge impact on me as well.
So did you had a conversation with the kid, or did you guys have same language?
No, he was speaking German and I was speaking Spanish or English.
Yeah.
And then in the little bits of attention that he got into the camera, I asked him like, "Hey, can I paint your portrait?" And he was like, oh, yes, yes, yes. Like he understood, or paint your picture, I think I said. And he said, yes, yes, that's awesome, something like that. And then I stayed for a little while, and I don't know if he decided to leave because I went into the next person, or he lost connection or whatever. But yeah, that happened.
Yeah, so this is what you do. You always ask from the person,
Yes,
can I
yes.
draw you? And yeah.
Yes, that was a routinary question that I made with everyone that I ran into there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this is really I love this piece, but the story behind it's kind of it's a little bit creepy to me that 8 years old child is on chat rooms, and as you said, you know, he might be stumble on very questionable things that happens in the chat room.
Yes.
Okay, so should we move on to a next one? Next picture.
Next piece. Yes.
What was that the stranger USA?
USA stranger. Yes, number 17, I think it is. Let me see. Here she is. USA stranger number 18.
Yeah, so
yes.
So tell us about a story behind this one.
Okay, I have to bring a little bit of more of context about things that I wrote in my thesis as well. So at the moment that I was painting all these things, it was at a place, at a time where everyone was sharing all kinds of personal information on Facebook and Instagram and all these different social media, no? Where with just one click you can know everything about everyone. So there was like no sort of privacy in the internet because your information was out there. You could know anything about where are they going, where do they work, who do they go to school with, their family, their jobs, everything, no? Like as we know that it happens on social media. And I think that these chat rooms are also a way to escape in a way from all this kind of exposure for a lot of people to know a lot about you. And then there's like a lot of scrutiny about everything that you are doing. Everyone is questioning everything. So
and judging.
And judging as well. So this is like the constant need to always appear perfect and to always be interesting and all that. And there is not much of a window to show honest vulnerability, because we know that a lot of people are showing some sort of vulnerability, but with weird intentions behind. But when I was talking to this girl, you could clearly see that she was upset in a way. And a cool thing about chat rooms as well is that the people that you run into this place and you hit the next button, you will never see that person again in your life. I mean, I think the chances of running into this person again into a chat room or anywhere are very low, like really, really low. So I think this opens a window for you to show your vulnerability, because you know that this person is not going to do or to say to anyone anything in a way, no? And I guess that she felt that she could be open to me when we first started talking. Like usually when you run into fully dressed people, there is like a usual way that things develop. There are constant questions that pop up, like, what are you doing on Chatroulette? How do you think about these crazy things happening? Wow, the same thing. And then after the routinary interviews on the first couple of minutes, I asked her, like, are you doing okay? Because I can feel that you're not feeling too good, like, right now. And then she said, like, no, I am not feeling okay. I was just trying to get distracted because things are happening in a way in my life. And then I asked her, like, do you really want to talk about it? Like, if you want someone to hear you, then I can do that for you. So yes, she decided to open herself to me, and then she told me about her issues. She was having some kind of thing happening at her home, and she was feeling very insecure about her life, and like a existential dread, like we all have at some point. And we got to talk for some time, and in the end, I asked her like, "Thank you for sharing all of this with me, and I was wondering if I could make your portrait." And then he was very touched. He was very moved about everything and the interaction that we had. And she agreed on me painting her portrait. And I decided to pick this expression of her, like she was like, very soft and very open and very transparent in a way. So this is the interaction that I had with her. Yeah. This is something that happened a few times on Chatroulette, actually.
Yeah. So basically, you can have a maybe deeper conversation or something like that with people, and with some not. And then there's also pieces where a few pieces where there's genitals showing.
Yes.
So it can be very sexual, also, depending
Yeah.
on a person.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, you get to have all kinds of interactions, and in a way, I think that there are different intentions in the people that are in this place. Like either they're looking for some sort of connection, like this girl, or other guys who are just trying to show themselves. They got off by exposing their sexual parts to strangers on the internet with the certainty that they're going to be gone and then never be seen again. And also other people who are also trying to look for some sort of different sexual connection in a way. So yeah, you never know what's going to come up next in
Yeah,
this
it's
kind
like
of
a Russian
challenges.
roulette.
Yes,
So like, if you're a sensitive person, maybe not
yes.
for you.
Yes, it's not for you. And then something that did happen actually was that at the beginning, when you run into your first people that they were exposing themselves or asking you inappropriate questions, at the beginning it was kind of awkward, and then you said like, what am I doing here? How is this happening? How am I allowing myself to go through this experience? But then I said like, in the name of sociology and in the name of investigation, I'm going to go through this.
I love that.
Yes.
Yeah, I was meaning to ask you, like, how did it affect you, the whole experience? Like, was it positive, negative, or both? And like, what did you got out of it?
It evolved. It evolved a lot. At the beginning, it was a lot of curiosity. Like, oh, what's going to come up next? And then something weird happened, and then I was like invaded with these feelings of, I don't know, of awkwardness and of uncomfortable, and like, I don't know if I am, what am I seeing? How am I exposing myself into this? And then it evolved into some sort of investigative mind, and to, like let's do this. And it was connected to some sort of desensitivization. Is that the word?
I guess so. I'm not an English native English either, so let's just like speak our own language.
Yeah, I lost sensitivity to those kind of things. Like, I got used to it.
Yeah.
And then when I got into that feeling, it clicked on me that because I've been exposed to this for so long, it became normal for me. And then I think that for other people, they say like, okay, so this is something that other people do. What shouldn't I? And then I think this is something that is like the last push for someone to take courage into exposing themselves.
Yeah.
Because they find like, this is normal. This is something that people are doing. So, okay, so why not?
Yeah, I mean, it can be a good thing, but it can be actually a very bad thing to if it's a young person and thinking like, okay, this is normal, But yeah, this is so interesting, very, very interesting. So let's go into the future. What do you have You have, well, you talked about the teaching the art, meditation, and everything. But what about your own like art projects? What do you have something in mind to do in physical artwork or a new collection in NFT art?
Yes, I have been planning for a new collection actually for years. This is something that I've been thinking about for a long time. Actually, when I was doing my hardcore meditation practices, I was having all these ideas about projects and everything, but couldn't find the last, willingness to put it outside. So after
That's the
doing
hardest
this,
part
yes,
sometimes.
that's the hardest. But like the ideas are beautiful floating around, and it's
Yes,
so
yes,
beautiful,
but
and so
actually to do
perfect.
it.
Yes, and so I start to do NFTs, and I decide that the first project that I want to mint is my thesis project because it is very well sustained. And it gives me time for me to get to know how the community works, how the whole system of the Web3 is working, and the crypto coin and everything. So this is something that I had ready to put in there and to make myself knowledgeable enough to move to a next project. So right now I am in the production of mixing traditional hand-drawn animation and digital stop motion. So I'm going to mix both of these worlds. And this next collection is going to be all about human experiences and like little things that we get to have in our daily lives that when we put our minds to it and our attention and our full feeling into it, it's what makes us human, no? Like little interactions and little moments in our existence that makes us feel, like that makes us real. So small animations of, like, for example, the first piece that I've already minted to open the collection is to gaze into your lover's eyes, to fall in love, no?
Yes.
And the background of the image, like this sunrise of the fields and the fresh and the dew and everything, is like to remember how does it feel to be in a place like that, and to connect it into feeling, into being with that person, to looking at this person. So putting everything together in this project. And like, like walking on sand, laying down on grass, playing with the dog, holding your kids' hands, like little moments that
special moments.
Yes, special moments that if you do not pay attention to them, they're just gone. Mm-hmm. So this is like an ode to being human and to these experiences.
Yeah. I've seen your piece and I love it. I really love it. It like so many feelings, and of course I love love.
Don't we all?
Don't we all? Yeah. But it's also difficult. But I also love the background, and it brought a lot of memories from my home country and everything. So I can't wait to see all the other pieces from that collection. So you are basic. Do you think that your ideas behind your collections, whatever, if it's NFT or physical art, do you think it's always going to be something like a little bit about the psychological, or something like, or you just
think so.
How do you get your ideas basically?
The meditation practice that I do is about paying attention from the moment that you wake up to the moment that you fall asleep. It's a constant mindfulness into whatever that is happening, and a constant questioning, where is this coming from? Da-da-dee-da-da-da. So I think I have a lot of material, because I am not only focusing on experiences, but I'm only going to focus on emotions. Like right now, the piece that I'm working on is about grief. So how does it feel to grieving, and where grieving comes from? So I think that being a human is a universal experience, and that even though we might have the same emotions in a way, because they're like universal. It's part of nature of having a body and a mind. We have different triggers. So I want to connect like the trigger with the emotion and to bring everything together. So both emotions and both experiences, I think there is a lot of material to work with. Yeah. And I don't know, this is something that I feel very passionate about doing, and I can't think about anything else. I like sometimes many ideas of different projects might come up, but I have to write down everything and then say, wait, because you have something developing right now, and otherwise you're going to be all over the place and there's not going to have any cohesion in a way. So this is mainly the project that I want to focus, because I think that it has enough for the long run.
Oh yes, for the rest of our lives.
Yes,
you
yes,
can
because we are
draw from that.
Yeah. And as we grow, we have different insights, and as we grow, we have different experiences, and like things that fall down and then gives us more inspiration to keep creating something that I'm relating into this. So I think it's a non-stop work. Yeah.
So, so this is kind of your. My question was like, do you want to leave a mark with your art in this world? And I don't know, maybe you just answered it, like little moments or something, or maybe what? Okay. Maybe I'm gonna ask, how would you like people to feel when they look at your art, or what do you want them to experience when they look at your art?
I am very down to the idea of making art that is moving you. Like obviously my Chatroulette project is something that moves you in a way, like forcefully, and it's going to resonate with people in different ways, because some people are going to resonate with the ones that are being vulnerable, or to the ones seeking for connection, or to ones seeking for sexual play. And some people are going to react also negatively to the project, because let's face it, it's not easy to digest. And but in a way there is an emotion, and there is an experience, and there is like like something that is hitting you. And I am down to making art that makes a mark on you. I am not very much about being the biggest one and going to the museums and going to all these places. Like I would really love to, if that happens, and because hopefully it will move the right people who are going to just come and let's have your exhibition in this kind of museum, and I'm like, okay. But my main focus is like when I presented you the first piece of my latest collection, and then you described this feeling that you were having of your homeland, and the feeling of love and this nostalgia and everything. Like art is always very much about how the artist is going to feel about something, but it is also very much about how the person that is contemplating the piece, how is this piece making that person feel. So I am here for that. I am not just to make something pretty. I want to make something that is beautiful to look at, and that is also making you feel something, to remember, to connect. This is my main point.
Yes, absolutely. And I love it. And you succeed with this one. And we have it on the screen now. This is, it's everything to me. Is it listed already? Because I, to be honest, I was almost like going to buy it, but I don't think it was listed.
It is listed, I think. I made this piece for the 1-of-1 Tesos event.
Yeah, and it's on Object, right?
It is on Object, yes. And I listed it, I minted it and opened an auction. And sadly, it didn't went to anyone. Nobody made a bid. But I think I made a mistake of having a very long auction of a week because it is my first auction and I was like very fresh into this space. I was like, am I going to give it enough time or what is going to happen? Oh my God. But the piece is there and I think it is open for offers. It is open for offers. It is just like, let's see what happens. And since I am not minting anything new into the collection, I'm just like waiting. And this is the Genesis piece of this collection that is called Human Experience. So yeah, if anyone wants to make a bid or an offer.
Yeah, you heard it. You heard it. I might because I love it. I love it so much.
Oh, thank you, Ilta. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I love it. It was great. I had a lot of fun producing that piece. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. I don't know if I have any questions anymore. Is there anything you would like to say about your art or future artists or message to the world? Anything?
Oh, well, the only thing that I can say right now is that I am so honored to be considered to be part of your podcast and your interview series. Like, really, when you approached me, and it was like, I was so touched, and I was so, like, so excited, and I felt like yes, like I am doing the right thing, and then I feel in the right place, and I am meeting so many beautiful people in the Web3. Also, obviously, we have like all kinds of ingredients in the salad of life, but I choose which ones I want to take into my plate. So yeah, I am so honored and so happy to have you, Ilta Maria and Keith, in my Web3 family, and so happy and so excited to be here and to present my art and my ideas and my feelings to the people. And I hope that you can, follow my trajectory in the Web3 space and that you like my art. And well, if you have any questions for anyone who is listening, I am open to listen and to, for commissions even if you want to. So
everybody,
very
you
thankful.
should go. You should go and find Existential from Twitter, and that's how you can find her art from the link tree and all the platforms where her art is placed, and you can buy some NFT. Beautiful, meaningful, amazing NFT art from her.
I am so full of love right now and so happy.
I'm so happy that you came on our podcast. Yeah. I knew that we're going to have a really good talk because you are a super interesting person, and I feel like you're my soul sister, and I would love to talk to you forever.
Like hang out and drink some tea and eat some
exactly in Mexico. I will come to Mexico.
Very much welcome anytime.
I want to. But yeah, I think this is it. And thank you, Existential, so much. And all the viewers, if you liked the episode, please like, and subscribe and comment. And we'll see you soon.